I was having the conversation with my friend and neighbor, Kevin Ulrich. We've had many conversations throughout the years, and I've always noticed that he was one of the first people that I recognized always would hire returning citizens to work on his farm. And he offered some amazing testimonies and always said that people were so hard workers and grateful, and he was glad to do it. So I was inspired by my conversations with Kevin to recognize him. As you know, legacy is always about celebrations and recognizing people that maybe have not been recognized in our community. We look for the quiet, unsung heroes who just do the right thing, not for praise, not for accolades, not for awards, because it's who they are. They're core of their being, the people that are true servant leaders. So again, I have the honor and privilege of introducing my friends, Kevin and Lisa Ulrich. They've been married for 46 years. They're blessed with 5 children and 11 grandchildren. Since 1978, they've operated multiple businesses in Pulaski County. Super City Dots, which is a distributor for is a Dippin' Dots still ice cream?
Yes.
And they have 9 employees. They also operate a wholesale distribution in 10 states. He and Lisa have been owners in this business for almost 20 years. They have 2 full-time employees that are returning citizens. And again, it's very important to recognize that this isn't what they do, it's who they are. Kevin, I'm going to let you, because I can't see who all's with you today, except for the children. I did see Kevin's beloved mother, Eileen Ulrich, who is an amazing woman in her own right. I believe she's 92 years young now. And she came all the way from Eastern Kentucky to see her baby get this award. So thank you for that.
Just I think that all of this can't be open to
As you know, not only beside every good man is a good woman, but sometimes even an amazing great woman. Everyone's going to have
Well, Lynn, thank you so much, and I'm honored to be here. And Lynn helped me a few years back with a midlife crisis when I purchased an abandoned school property, and I didn't know what to do with it. And she had a lot of great ideas, and I saw persistence in action. And she coordinated bringing the arts to the community, to alternative students at that school complex, getting kids back in there. And Lynn has been a big part of a lot of success here in Pulaski County. I would like to recognize my mother as well, my wife, Lisa, my daughter, Dr. Brooke Jacobs. And if you count the 5 grandkids I've got here, that's 4 generations. My son, Brian, is here as well as they came in. Mom just survived the tornado in Eastern Kentucky that completely demolished her home while she was there. She was honored to have Kentucky Governor Beshear in her home. Unfortunately, the home was no longer standing, and when he had his press conference from her property. So she definitely, along with the other ladies that are here today, are heroes to me to demonstrate perseverance, persistence, and all of that has to occur to make things work for these returning citizens. This started with my wife and I 46 years ago when we were first married. Our son, Brian, was an infant. We heard about a homeless teenager, 17 years old, abused by his father, kicked out of his home. And my wife chose to make a room in our home for this young man, while a lot of other women would have been thinking about the nursery for the newborn. We loved our son, Brian, more than anything in the world. But my wife went to work making a room for a homeless 17-year-old that we knew at that time. We were running a mechanic service station type business. We understood that he might have some mechanical skills. It turned out he had great mechanical skills. He just needed a home. He needed some love. He needed an automobile. He got all of those things, and he got back on his feet. But these ladies are an important part of this process. And I could talk for an hour about Lynn's persistence and how that pays off in the community. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the award.
I don't believe Abed is here, so we had another award that we'll give Abu, and I'm screwing up his name. Abed Abukhdar is our other champion of change award winner. He operates several businesses, but he was one of the first to hire one of our insignia group members there in Mounds. So in his absence, let's also acknowledge him as our other champion of change. And for next year, we give his award. And a couple of other items. Gary Hicks, would you come forward, please, sir? Gary, I wanted to give you a certificate of achievement for being here with us these couple of days and for your leadership and being a part of the insignia group. And thank you and welcome to our community. The same thing, Michael. We appreciate you for being here the entire 2 days and for your work and your participation as a member of the insignia group. And we love you and welcome to our community. Abed, do you want to make any comments?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And since I failed to read your bio, do you want to tell them a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Again, I apologize for being a little tardy. We've had a busy morning ourselves too. We still have responsibilities and whatnot. So, I did have a bio, but I kind of just go off the top of my head. So, I went to Shawnee too. So I think a lot of us, down here, we all at least spent, one semester at Shawnee. So, I definitely love to support my area. So, I grew up in Southern Illinois. I was born in Chicago. My family, we moved down here in the 90s. And we had a business. We opened up in Cairo, Illinois, of all places. So my dad came down here. We bought a farm, right outside of Mounds. And we opened up a business. We had never came down here. We didn't know nothing about Southern Illinois, and here we are. So, we invested in Alexander County, in Cairo. We invested in Pulaski County, Mounds, Mount City. And, we tried to uplift the best we could, it's in this area. And, at the end of the day, if we don't do it ourselves, nobody really is going to. So, I grew up here. I have a lot of love for this area. I came back. So, like I said, I went to school here for a semester, and then I ended up going to SIU, and I got my master's degree in electrical engineering out of SIU with a minor in math. And, I worked as an engineer for Procter & Gamble and P&G over in Cape for a few years and transferred. So I spent 13 years as an engineer with P&G. And then, I did pretty good for myself. And I was like, you know what? My parents are getting older. I think I need to go back home and kind of keep an eye on them. So I ended up coming back and I retired as an engineer and I opened up a business in Mounds because we just don't really have much there. It was hard to even find a burger after 5 o'clock. So, we had some property and I was like, you know what, I'm going to really, kind of look after my mom and, invest in the area and, see where this goes. So we did remodeling a place that's, me and my dad had purchased, years back. We just never did nothing with it and just sat there. So I ended up remodeling it. We invested, I'll be honest, I think around $250,000, to be honest, in Mounds. So, we built a kitchen and a convenience store and like a rental lounge area for folks that want to rent out the place. And, it took off. We opened up and it took off. I employ, anywhere from 7 to 10 people. local folks, in the area. I'm willing to give anybody a chance, at the end of the day. And, we're trying to give back and provide for the community. I think that's what it, really comes down to at the end of the day. You hear, everybody goes off to get, all these educations and degrees and these good jobs, but okay, that's great and all, but, you can also, give back at the end of the day, like I said, if we don't, look out for each other, then, this area is just going to continue to, go down the wrong path. And, we all have family here. We all have friends here. And like I said, I like to give folks chances. Amari is great. He's been a great, and I don't even like saying employee, a friend of mine, at the end of the day. So, giving people chances, and looking out for the community is really what it comes down to. It's not all about money, or it's not all about, all these, education degrees and whatnot. At the end of the day, if we don't, again, support each other, then it's not going to work. Again, I appreciate Ms. Chambers. She's done an excellent job with this program. She's done an excellent job, overall. She's a role model for all of us. Again, I appreciate the award. Again, I'm very thankful. So thank you.
Thank you. Our very first champions of change, the Ulrich and Abukhdar.
Yes.
Abukhdar. Please, once again, can we give them a round? Come back to me to get a picture with all the ladies. All righty. Thank you. I really, before you got here, I said that this award, we try very hard to recognize people that we say, we see you. We see you, Ubuntu. We see you, right? And giving awards to people who don't do it for awards. You do it because it's the right thing. So we're so excited, our first champions of change.